Hi everyone and welcome to the RC Retro channel. You know, just when I finally convinced myself not to buy any more vintage RCs because I have so many project cars that are going to last me weeks if not months, yeah, this happened. But I can't say that these are all mine. Two of them are mine and the other two are Harry's, but this is an awesome haul of vintage RCs right here. Um, you see, I was just sitting around the other day and I get a text from Joe, who's one of the gentlemen who we race RC cars with on the weekends. And he said, hey, look at this guy on Craigslist. He's got all these vintage RC cars for sale. And so Harry started negotiating with the guy and was like, I want these two, which is fine because I actually wanted these two. And we'll take a look at all of these individually in a moment. And so Harry negotiated a price and we took a ride out there together. And man, I was extremely pleased because all four of these were in far better conditions than the pictures led on. And we had to snatch these all up right away. So again, we already went there with a price determined. So we really didn't try to haggle or negotiate. Just gave the gentleman the money and he threw in a whole bunch of extra parts, extra tires also. Each car comes with a remote. So, I mean, you couldn't beat the price that we got all four of these for. And I just want to share that what the Marui Coors Melling is going for, I said melon, Melling is going for online based on prior eBay sales, we got all of this for less than what this one car is going for on eBay. So I have to say it was an extremely, extremely good deal. Too good to pass up. So, all right, what do we have here? Well, we have the Turbo Ultima II. We have the Marui, hope I'm saying that right, Marui Coors Melling over here. And those are mine. And then these two, the Kyosho Highrider Corvette and the Traxxas Hawk, are Harry's. Yes. Harry now has a Traxxas. After all the shit talking, he now owns one. But I guess it's all right because it's a vintage Traxxas, right? So. All right. Well, with that, let's get to the Ultima II first. You know, this was the RC out of the many that this gentleman was selling that I was immediately drawn to. It looked like it was in great condition, and when I got there in person and looked it over, it far exceeded my expectations. It's in excellent condition. I mean, the bottom of the chassis does have some scratches on it, but very, very minimal. And there is on-road tires on here, which leads me to believe that the person, the original owner, didn't really run this too hard. Mostly, I want to say, on the street. And, you know, it's basically stock still. I mean, it even has the original mechanical speed controller from Kyosho with the two servos. The only thing on here besides, you know, the wheels being different is maybe the steering system in here. It's like this neon yellow, and I'm not really sure if it's like a Kyosho upgraded part or something else in there. I'll know a little bit more when I take it apart and clean it. But I probably want to say he upgraded that. But other than that, it's a beautiful, beautiful buggy. Now, it does not have on it at the moment the original neon green wheels and the stock tires. However, he did throw those in, but there is one little issue with them. He painted over the green with red paint. And I said to him, you painted these red? And he's like, man, I was 10 years old. That's what 10-year-olds do. I had a red body and I wanted red wheels to match it. So I got to figure out a way to get that red paint off. And of course the tires are glued, so I got to, you know, get those off as well. But I think this will clean up very, very nicely. And of course, I will be doing a box art body, so I'll be placing an order with TBG and MCI very, very soon to get this done. So very, very happy about this. Next, we have a Highrider Corvette. And this actually holds a special place in my heart because the Highrider Corvette was my second RC car I ever owned as a kid. And now Harry has one. I actually do have a Highrider Corvette that is restored and a shelf queen and will definitely not see a track anytime soon. But Harry's mission, his goal, is to get this track ready for our monster truck class and to beat me with a Blackfoot or Joe with his Blackfoot. And I keep telling him I think he's dreaming a little bit because I owned one of these as a kid and they are slow as shit. And the suspension, our pogo sticks on here, but he's determined. He's like, I'm gonna get this on the track, race ready, and I'm gonna beat you in the monster truck class. So we shall see. But even this is in pretty decent condition. I think the wheels on here will clean up nicely. There does not seem to be a lot of pitting on these wheels or chipping, and these wheels are kind of hard to find, as well as the tires. And I'm looking at them really quickly, and I do not see any cracking on the tires, nor do I see any flat spots on the tires. So I think he really lucked out with this. So we take off the lid. Part of the bumper is missing, but that is included in a bag of parts that we have. And of course, this is also running the stock mechanical speed controller in here. So this is a little bit of a project car, but I think you know, this will be fun to see out on the track. So, and I'm looking forward to trying it out myself once Harry gets this ready to run. So, all right, the Kyosho High Rider Corvette. All right, so our next RC is the Traxxas Hawk. Now, I don't really know too much about vintage Traxxas, but I'll tell you this. This is an awesome looking stadium buggy, and it is in great condition. I mean, there is very minimal scratches along the bottom, just right over here in this area. But I mean, other than that, it's just dirty, and I think this is going to clean up beautifully. The only thing I see on here right now, just from a quick overlook, are some rusted turnbuckles, but maybe Harry can source new ones or clean those up. But I'll tell you this, even though this comes with the original tires that look brand new and the original body, this is definitely not going to sit on a shelf in Harry's house. I mean, he is going to paint up this body and he is going to use this. I know many of you right now are sitting behind your computer screens cheering, yes, no shelf queens, runners. And then there are some of you who are on the flip side saying, no, don't run it, don't run it. It's too vintage and it's a piece of history. But you know what? That's him. He likes to run it, and I'm not going to argue. But I know he'll take great care of it at the same time, and I'm sure he'll paint up the body awesome. But yeah, I will say, now that I'm looking this over, I am a little envious and wish I got it. I think this is going to be awesome. This is really going to be awesome. And again, this is another one that I'm really looking forward to seeing on the track. So, all right, and the final car we have is the Marui Coors Melling. And you see there's a little bit of a history behind this. As a kid wanting an RC car, I would always bother the heck out of my uncle who was into racing RC cars. And this was one of them. And every time I went over his house, this was nice and high up on the TV wall unit where I couldn't get my hands on it. But I remember looking at it all the time saying, that's a really cool RC car. I really want one of those. And so, still to this day, whenever I'm hanging out with my uncle and we're talking about RC cars, he always brings this one up and says, man, you remember that car? I did such a great paint job on that car. And you know what, Uncle Dave? You really did. But you know what? This one's pretty awesome too. And so when I went over to the gentleman's house and saw this, the body was actually off on the floor and this was on the table. And so I picked it up and right away knew I had to have this. The driver figure, great paint job, very minimal wear on the bottom of the chassis. There are a few scuff marks on the battery tray, and I also noticed that there are 3 tabs you got to push to open up the battery tray, and in each area of the tab there is some scratch marks, probably from using a screwdriver to get those open, so I'm assuming it's probably a pain in the butt to get the battery tray off. But the bottom, is in really great condition. The tires, the foam tires, not so much, and they are glued on, and I don't even know if I would want to run this with these tires because they are so old. I don't know if they'll just like basically deteriorate and shred off, and I also don't want to risk scratching those copper colored wheels or the gold wheels. I think they're more of a, yeah, like gold wheels. So, but yeah, and the selling point of this, besides that nostalgia, was when I took the car and turned it around and saw the Revolution racing motor in the back. This motor, I want to say, is a sought-after motor. They're going for top dollar on eBay. And when I saw that, I was like, I got to get this. And more so when I put the body on it. When you get the whole... When you get the whole package together like this, you look at it, you're like, yeah, man, this is a hot looking car right here. And I'm not really big on road cars either, because I always end up buying on-road cars and then, you know, selling them down the line because they're not, for me, exciting to run. But regardless if I run this once or twice, it's gonna look awesome on my shelf. I know. But still, it's nostalgia, right? Sentimental value. All right. Well, how much did this cost? You really want to know? $150. Not for all four, but for my half. $150 for the Marui and the Turbo Ultima II. Which I don't really think is bad because it works out to $75 for each car. And, you know, I can tell you right now, I spent $75 on little parts for cars, let alone getting two awesome vintage RCs for $75. I think that was definitely worth the investment right there. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. And obviously, these RC cars will be making another appearance on my channel at some point. So keep an eye out for those. And I will see you all in my next video. Take care.
Let's go, let's go.